Good afternoon, I'm Alex Perret.
And I'm Sharon Nunn. Trump's first 2 weeks in office have been met with both excitement and controversy. 13 days and 18 executive orders. There's no question Trump got straight to work. Reporter Donnie Holloway joins us now to take us to the very beginning. Donnie, you attended President Donald Trump's inauguration. Tell us about that whole experience.
I did, Sharon. The inauguration was a big event, but the protests afterwards even bigger. D.C., unlike I've ever seen it before, people very impassioned on both sides witnessing the transition of power. Here's a look back at the beginning of a new era in America.
The performances are done, the swearing in is completed, and the official Twitter profile is updated. Hundreds of thousands gathering in D.C., big names arriving for the ceremony, but not all attending the transition of power. President Trump sharing during his address how the inauguration will be remembered.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
Thousands protesting, some even smashing windows, more than 200 arrested, some saying they're worried about how President Trump will create change.
As a student, just like I think there's going to be a disconnect for everyone, so I could just see a change happening in a bad way.
Others feeling proud.
It's just so cool being around, hundreds of thousands of other people, just celebrating this day, for our new president.
President Obama taking off in Executive 1, a clear symbol of the transition of power. Back at UNC, some students expressing their frustration by walking out of class to protest. Less than 24 hours later, demonstrators rallied during the historic Women's March on Washington.
People flooding in from all parts of the country to share their message. People right behind me shouting, "Fight back, fight back."
Some UNC students marching to make their voices heard too.
It felt like I was making history, which kind of impacted me a lot because you don't do that every day, and getting to do that just felt incredible.
Students standing in solidarity.
It was nice. I think this has been a trip that really brought us together, and we've made memories that are gonna last forever.
The group seeing the march as a unique opportunity.
In North Carolina, there's diversity, but here it's like not only were there people from every state, there were people from Canada. I heard people from, I think, Europe.
When we were marching on Pennsylvania, there was a sign that said, sex offenders can't live in government property.
Students hoping to take motivation back to campus.
I hope to take back a new sense of activism. Like, we can do things like this in Chapel Hill. There's no reason why we can't.
They joined more than 100,000 people in the nation's capital.
Meanwhile, in North Carolina, an estimated 17,000 people participated in the Women's March on Raleigh. Also, I reached out to the UNC College Republicans and learned that they did not attend the inauguration as a group. They shared with me that it wasn't for political reasons, rather because of the beginning of the semester and they were busy with classes. I also reached out to see what they think about his executive orders, and they wouldn't give me a specific stance on their views of President Trump. They plan to meet tonight to discuss all of this. And I also reached out to the UNC Young Democrats, and they have not gotten back with me yet.
Thanks, Donnie.
The Trump administration has continued working despite the protest. Just last night, Trump announced Neil Gorsuch as his nominee for Supreme Court. Gorsuch is a 49-year-old federal appellate judge from Colorado who is considered a staunch conservative. Trump's cabinet picks have also continued to move forward. A few hours ago, the Senate approved former ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State.
One of the most controversial executive orders is Trump's temporary ban on immigration from the U.S. to 7 predominantly Muslim countries, including Iran and Iraq. A federal judge temporarily blocked the order Saturday night, saying it violated immigrants' due process and equal protection guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. Reporter Danielle Wallace joins us live from UNC South Building with more on the local protests. Danielle?
Yes, I went to Raleigh-Durham International Airport on Sunday, where more than 1,000 people gathered to protest the immigration ban. Many said they believe the order is unconstitutional, calling it a Muslim ban. And united they stood in protest against Trump's latest executive order that bans immigrants from 7 Muslim-majority nations from the U.S. for 90 days. The president says the ban protects Americans from terrorism, but federal courts say the order goes too far and may even violate the Constitution. UNC public policy professor Daniel Gitterman.
Much of this has been framed, including a press conference with the Secretary of Homeland Security, that this is about protecting the homeland and not targeting any specific groups.
Protesters I spoke to at Raleigh-Durham International Airport say the order only hurtfully targets people of the Muslim religion.
But clearly this is an act of racism. This is not an act of protecting our safety.
Gitterman says federal courts will review the order to see if it violates the Constitution's Establishment Clause that says the government shall not favor one religion over another.
That much of it is going to be determined on whether it targets a particular religion and would violate the U.S. Constitution.
While the Trump administration does not call the order a Muslim ban, protesters say they're calling it how they see it.
We know that this is about xenophobia, racism, and isolationism. That's just going to hurt us in the long run.
President Trump says his executive order is meant to keep Americans safe. He says with more time, they'll have an opportunity to come up with a better screening system. Joining us now is Carolina Week reporter Katie Kamen. Katie, I imagine on campus students have a lot to say about the president's executive order.
They did. I spoke to dozens of students on campus about the issue, and I only found one person who was in support of the ban, but he didn't want to be interviewed. The overwhelming feeling across campus among the students that I talked to was that the ban was not a good idea.
I think it's absolutely preposterous. It's un-American, it's unconstitutional, it's unethical.
There's a lot of protesting that's happening as a result of it, and hopefully, and just sort of since the Trump administration has started, there's been a lot of protesting. So hopefully, just by the sheer volumes of people that are coming, that it'll be made clear that this is not a generally supported thing.
In Leviticus said we should not mistreat foreigners in our land, and so as a Christian, I believe that it's my duty to oppose the immigration ban.
Hundreds of thousands, millions of people have come here trying to escape atrocities abroad to make a new life for themselves. We've promised the entire world the American dream, and we're shutting the door in their face.
Universities have also been reacting to the president's immigration order. Top administrators at Duke University say they refuse to give out any confidential student records to law enforcement without a subpoena. And UNC's Chancellor Folt said in a statement saying that she's heard from international students who are confused and afraid. She urged them to reach out to UNC's International Student Services for counseling and support. Sharon?
That's Katie Kamen and Danielle Wallace live from the South Building. Thanks.
Chapel Hill and Carborough's mayors have publicly denounced Trump's immigration. Their statements come after protests this weekend. And the applause didn't stop there. For an hour Sunday afternoon, protesters of all ages gathered on Franklin Street to oppose President Donald Trump's recent executive order. They held signs and chanted, urging lawmakers to repeal the restrictions.
As news media outlets have been reporting on Trump and all of the ongoings with his administration, they've been firing back, calling with what they call alternative facts. Former Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway coined the term in a TV interview last week. It happened after Trump's press secretary argued that Trump's inauguration crowd was larger than former President Obama's, a statement that proved false. Conway excused this falsehood and called it an alternative fact. Americans are divided on this issue of alternative facts, and recent polls show Americans' trust in news media is at a historic low.
I think that's a piece of a much bigger problem of distrust of institutions, distrust of the press and what its role is.
Professor Robinson says in these times of distrust, it's more important than ever for journalists to seek the truth and make sure all of their information is accurate and properly sourced.
Dogs in need are getting help from public relations students. We'll tell you how up next.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. big time.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
The presidential elections may be over, but on campus it's just the beginning of our own electoral period. Laura Brache joins us live in the studio to tell us about the 6 student body president candidates for 2017.
Thanks, Sharon. Yesterday was the last day for students to declare their candidacy for student body president. The candidates must collect at least 1,250 signatures in order to be on the ballot for general election day on February 14th. Here's a look at who's running in alphabetical order. Elizabeth Atkins is a junior political science and journalism major with a platform that focuses on improving sexual assault reform and improving mental health awareness. Travis Broadhurst, a junior geological science and physics major, intends to create a better relationship between student government and the student body. Sammy Espada, a junior political science and women's and gender studies major, has no previous experience in student government, but she believes this will give her an advantage in seeing eye to eye with the student body. Maurice Greer, a junior music and political science major, has set up a platform specifically to address the needs of students and student groups at UNC. Matthew McKnight, a junior public policy and history major, believes student government should be more transparent. His platform focuses primarily on issues like sexual assault, awareness, mental health, and accessibility. And finally, Joan Nail, a sophomore who served as chief of staff for the Opera administration, is an economics and political science major. Nail wants to make it clear that student government is responsible to the students through a platform based on accessibility, wellness, and civil engagement. Signature counts will be collected on Tuesday, and the qualifying candidates will begin to campaign for the general election. Sharon?
Candidates are campaigning around campus all week, and you can learn more about their platforms on their campaign websites.
The UNC admissions office is breaking records. For the 12th consecutive year, a record number of high school students applied for admission at UNC. 40,792 students sent in applications, a nearly 14% increase from last year, according to the Office of Admissions. The university expects to enroll a first-year class of 4,200 and an additional 800 students as transfer students.
A network of foster homes will take no bull from naysayers. Sorry, I had to get that out there. And they have teamed up with UNC students to accomplish this. A public relations class at UNC has paired up with Bullies to the Rescue, there you go, an organization that takes in bulldogs from unfortunate situations and helps them find their forever homes. The instructor, of course, knows that having clients like this at the School of Media and Journalism is a wonderful opportunity to showcase his students' creativity.
The school does so many wonderful things, and when they work with clients as exciting and cuddly as the Bulldogs, I think it's just a win-win for the community, for our school, and just appreciate the opportunity to kind of showcase it.
Bullies to the Rescue hopes to get a new perspective on marketing, including strategies to end negative stereotypes surrounding bulldogs.
Cloudy skies haven't stopped students from enjoying the warm weather.
Will the warm spell continue? Meteorologist Alex Komet has the forecast coming up next.
Good manners report. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes.
But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Hey, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. I'm your meteorologist, Alex Clement, with your weather. Moving forward, a treat for our weather enthusiasts out there. NOAA just launched their GOES 16 satellite, which gives us these super crisp, high-definition pictures of Earth from space. It also gives us great water vapor and visible satellite imagery. And once they release a few more of their satellites that are in production right now, it's going to dramatically improve the way that we forecast weather. I thought that that would be interesting to share with you. Moving forward to take a look at our surface map, you can see what was going on today. We did wake up with a few high clouds in the area. It was a little cloudy when we got out the door, but as the sun came up, it melted those clouds away, bringing our temperatures up again. You see this occluded front as it moves across the Carolinas. It's definitely going to cool temperatures down a little bit tonight. It's also going to bring a chance of rain as we move into the overnight hours. But behind it is going to be an area of high pressure. It's going to fill in to the southeast, bringing us beautiful temperatures and some more mild temperatures tomorrow. Behind that, the rest of this roller coaster looking frontal boundary as it moves across the United States. When we get into next weekend, we do have a slight chance of snow on Friday. I wouldn't bank on it, but as it moves out Sunday evening, it brings back the 60s from Monday after a little cool down over the weekend. Today, we got 65 currently in Chapel Hill, 63 in Durham, and 66 in Raleigh. As you can see on our radar, there are a few high clouds left in the area, but nothing in the way of precipitation yet. That will change as we go overnight. Today we topped out 67 degrees with partly cloudy skies, light and variable winds. Tonight, clouds will move in, which will help keep in some of the heating from the day. We're only going to get down to 44 degrees. Mild and cloudy, a few showers likely as we go into the nighttime hours. But tomorrow on your way out the door, back to the beautiful skies again. We got partly cloudy all day, few clouds. 8 a.m. we'll be at 45 degrees. By noon we'll be up to 55, and then by 3 we'll be up to 58 degrees for your basketball forecast. UNC is hosting Notre Dame Saturday at the Dean Smith Center. When the game starts, we'll be at 39 degrees with clear skies. Very low % chance of precipitation, relatively none. At the end of the game, it'll be a little chillier at 33 degrees, so definitely have your jacket handy because it'll be cold when you leave. And if you're looking forward to getting out of town for the weekend, we have skiing forecast. It's going to be beautiful on Sunday with 40 degrees, sunny. Overnight, they're expecting some snow, and then Sunday we have freezing rain, but Saturday's looking optimal for that. Take a look at the 5-day forecast. You can see we have 60s. We cool down over the weekend, lows in the 20s across the weekend, but then we're back up to 60 on Monday with that chance of rain on Sunday.
Awesome. So let's talk about the snow. How do we go from 67 degrees today to snowing on Friday and this weekend? Let's talk about that.
Not too long ago, I said, welcome to North Carolina, and you know how we have roller coaster weather here. I wouldn't bank on the snow just yet, though, because a lot has to happen between now and then. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be cold enough for the snow to actually hit the ground. If it even does, if it doesn't evaporate before it gets here, it might not even be snow. It might be rain.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that update on the weather. We really appreciate it, Alex.
Of course.
And when Carolina Week returns,
men's basketball hosted last place Pittsburgh last night. See how the Tar Heels survived a surprise scare.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. you can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Brett Thompson. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, but first let's start with the men's basketball team who looked to bounce back from a tough loss at Miami on Saturday. The Heels took on last place Pittsburgh, who played like first place Pittsburgh. The Panthers drained 3 after 3 to stay alive throughout the game, but Isaiah Hicks helped carry the Tar Heel offense with an efficient night, 18 points and 8 rebounds for the man who puts the Ox in Oxford, North Carolina. Now later in the game, Joel Berry gets the and one coming right into your living room. He bounced back with 19 points. Now let's fast forward to the closing seconds. Isaiah Hicks makes this free throw to go up 2, and Pitt's last second heave for all the Tostitos. Not even close. The Heels survive 80-78. After the game, Joel Berry spoke about his team's lackluster defense.
I just think it's just taking pride in wanting to guard somebody. I mean, if someone is scoring on you every possession you come down, you got to at least man up and say, look, I'm not going to let them score on me anymore.
And it won't get any easier for UNC this weekend when it hosts 20th ranked Notre Dame. The Irish are shooting almost 40% from outside. That's good for 20th best in the country. Notre Dame also scores almost 118 points per 100 possessions, making it the 17th most efficient offense in the nation. So speaking of defensive struggles, let's talk about football. Today is National Signing Day, or as I like to call it, National Fax Machine Awareness Day, as high school seniors sign their letters of intent to schools across the country. Here's a look at the new crop of Tar Heels coming into Chapel Hill this season, which ESPN does have as the 5th best in the ACC. One notable name in there is Jake the King Lawler. He's the number 3 football player in the entire state and the 23rd best defensive end in the nation. He has got to be considered the crown jewel of this class. Another name to look at in this group is Jonah Melton. He's a real hog molly as the 11th ranked guard in the country and the number 1 guard in the state of North Carolina. We do not know who the quarterback will be next year, but we do know that Melton will be there to have his back. But while signing day is certainly a big deal in the football world, all eyes will be on the Super Bowl this Sunday. I caught up with a Chapel Hill resident responsible for transforming it from just a game to a worldwide event.
Football at its core consists of 2 teams playing in a stadium, battling it out for 4 quarters to determine a victor. But one man's vision changed how we present football and turned the Super Bowl into not just a game, but a worldwide event.
You're drawing 135 million people in this country to watch it. It's not the 30 million people that are watching on an average Sunday.
Jim Stieg was the Senior Vice President of Special Events for the NFL, organizing Super Bowls 13 through 39. Innovations like TVs in the concession stands, radio playing in the concourse, and jumbotrons came from Stieg's team, all in an effort to make the fan experience more enjoyable.
I think the biggest compliment we ever got was out of one guy. He came back after Super Bowl 18. He said, that was the greatest game I've ever been to. And I said, the game was lousy. It was 38-14. But his understanding of what the game was, when I left my house and got in the car and when I got back into my garage.
Stieg worked many memorable Super Bowls, but his proudest came in the wake of tragedy.
Here comes one of greater importance if he makes it, and it's right down the pipe.
I think that the most important moment maybe in sports, certainly I think in the NFL, was Super Bowl 36. That's the game that was right after 9/11. Pulling that game off the way we did successfully and not having any incidents, and it not only galvanized the country, I think that had a big impact of getting the country jump-started back to normalcy.
Steig hopes to teach in the near future, where he'd spread a legacy of assuring that sports are far more than just a game. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brett Thompson reporting.
Well, Brett, with the Super Bowl right around the corner, tell us who you're going to be rooting for.
I will actually be rooting against the Patriots. I'm not really a Falcons fan. I'm a Panthers fan. There's kind of a rivalry there, but I just hate Tom Brady. I think he has a really...
Patriots too.
Yeah, right. He has a really tacky taste in hats, and apparently he doesn't watch the news.
So cute, though.
Thanks, Brett. And you may have passed a group of students freestyling in the pit before.
But you may not know how the group got its start or what they want you to join in. If you're familiar with UNC's campus,
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
if you're familiar with UNC's campus, you know that the pit is a place to go to express yourself.
One student group has become a staple of expression in the pit. Its founder even broke a world record for expressing himself. Our Alexa Papadopoulos has more.
This is UNC Cypher. Cypher is another name for freestyle rap, and this group is a community of musicians and rappers. Their performances rely only on small speakers, dictionaries, and audience participation, which draws the attention of many students walking past.
We feed them words and they incorporate them immediately into their raps.
The group's inclusiveness encourages them to stay.
I'm definitely coming back here. They're very accepting and they love having like new rappers and stuff, and so it's cool to see them welcome a bunch of new people.
And because of UNC Cypher, student rappers have a place to express themselves. All thanks to Joshua Rousey. The self-described cultivator of culture left his job in New York to create an inclusive rap community in the Triangle. Why he does it? The people.
Just the amount of inclusion and just the community that has come organically from us, just like really rapping and people gathering around. So really just the people coming together has been the greatest thing.
Since starting the group, Rousey has broken a world record for the longest cipher, which was almost 12 hours and 37 minutes. He's also worked on revitalizing the Cherokee language and gave a TEDx talk.
Like it's happening now, like it's a beautiful movement that just keeps going.
He says he wants the movement to spread nationwide, but for now, he's happy in North Carolina. In Chapel Hill, I'm Alexa Papadopoulos reporting.
You can catch UNC Cypher every Wednesday night in the pit at 9:25 p.m.
All right, Sharon, what do you think? A little rap battle right now? Let's hear your freestyle.
We're not
Drop
doing
a beat
that
right now.
Not doing that. Good try. No, I wouldn't want to make anybody miserable with that.
Even if I give you a little beat, you won't give us a rhyme?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching and good night.